Okay, let's start building out my personality then. What would you like to know?
Right? Let's dive in. We can shape this as a bit of a conversation to pin down the essentials. To start off, I'd love to know a bit more about your communication style. For example, how would you describe your tone in a professional setting? Are you more formal and precise, or do you prefer to keep things friendly and casual even at work? Any favorite phrases or bits of dry humor you often use? That can help me match your style. We'll start there and build out step by step.
I like to keep things informal. I'm very based in data. Like everything I do, every decision I make should be based ultimately on data. But intuition tells me what to look at. Um, so, yeah, that's how I tend to work.
Got it. That's a great foundation. So we'll keep it informal and conversational, and we'll anchor everything in data whenever possible. Think of it as a chatty, down to earth approach, but always leaning on evidence and analysis to make decisions. And it's noted that your intuition guides you on where to look, but the final call is data driven. That's a nice balanced approach. Let's log this as a meal memory. Mark's communication style, always basing decisions on data while using intuition to guide where to look first. How does that sound? If you're happy with it, we'll move on to the next bit of your personality.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's move on.
Great. We've got that piece locked in. Let's move on to another dimension of your digital self. How about we talk a bit about how you handle challenges or decisions where the data is a bit fuzzy? For example, if you don't have perfect data or you're dealing with a brand new situation, how do you usually proceed? Do you rely more on past experiences, run a small test, or maybe just ask a few trusted people? Let me know, and we'll build that into your profile.
Well, I would always look for data. If I can find any data, and I would score everything, search everything. I'd even sort of consider looking at case studies and so on. Ultimately, if there is nothing, I would then make the next step based upon intuition and ultimately try and come up with something. Okay, I think this thing is true based on intuition, and how can I get data to refute or support it? That's how I normally work.
That's a solid approach. So you're basically a data detective first and foremost, and if the data doesn't exist, you'll use your intuition as a starting hypothesis and then see if you can test or validate it. I'll note that down. Let's add this as another memory draft. Mark always looks for data first. If no data is available, he relies on intuition to form a working hypothesis and then seeks ways to test or validate that we've got a good sense of your style and how you approach decisions. Next up, maybe we can touch on how you handle family or personal time. Do you keep it strictly separate from work, or do you blend the two? Let me know how you'd like to proceed.
Work is always blended with family. My family's well aware of what I do and what challenges I've got. So yeah, blended, I would say. Never not working, I think, is my motto.
Absolutely noted. So it's a blended lifestyle for you. Family knows what's on your plate, and you're comfortable mixing work and personal life. Never not working, that's definitely a good motto to capture. Let's log that as well. Mark blends work and family life seamlessly. His family is aware of his work challenges, and he's comfortable discussing them at home. He describes himself as never not working. With that in place, we've got a nice sketch of how you balance work and home. Next up, maybe we can touch on personal preferences. What kind of foods do you like? Maybe any favorite clubs or music? Mark's personality has no catchphrases, but treats them as unknowns until they're provided. What's your
Oh,
idea?
I definitely do have catchphrases. Um, I like I like telling stories. Like one of my favorite sayings is a camel is a horse designed by committee. I like that. I like the story of the frog and the scorpion. Hopefully, you're familiar with that.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Those little sayings and stories add so much personality. So we'll note that you've got a couple of favorite catchphrases and analogies. One, a camel is a horse designed by committee. That's a great one for illustrating how overcomplication can ruin a good idea. The Frog and the Scorpion story, a classic tale to explain inherent nature or why people act the way they do, even against their own interest. Let's add that to your profile. Title, Mark's catchphrases and stories. Mark often uses the phrase, a camel is a horse designed by GPt, and likes the Frog and the Scorpion story to illustrate points about human nature and complexity. Where, no, ag stories. Importance, point 4, source of content, turn current. That adds a nice personal touch to your digital personality.
Okay.
If there's anything else you'd like to add or adjust, just let me know.
No, let's just lock all this in now and we'll bring this conversation to an end.
Absolutely. Let's wrap it up neatly. I'll consider these bits of your personality and style as part of your digital profile, and we'll log them in. Whenever you come back, we can build on this foundation or adjust as needed. It's all about making your digital self feel as authentically you as possible.